Hey, what's your name?
My name's Colby.
I'm Barry. Well, so long. I wonder if anyone... It was such a weird, abrupt conversation.
It was, yeah. You expected there to be a little more to it, and then it was just like, let's part ways.
What's going on, guys? My name is Barry.
Oh, this is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This.
Her theme music.
Welcome to the last movie of
Jason Pargin month. This is he is the guy who did John Dies. He wrote the book that turned into the movie John Dies at the End. I follow him on Instagram and on TikTok, and the man is brilliant, and he has recommended 5 movies for everybody to watch. And so we are on week 4. We're not going to do the 5th one because that one's Reservoir Dogs, and everybody's seen that movie.
Yeah.
So it's
You know, one of the things I always admire about Reservoir Dogs is that you know how what is it, they're planning a heist or something, or
yeah.
They totally skip that. They just do it. And then they just get back into the conversation.
Yes.
and you can totally see where a lot of his inspirations are from within this month.
Right.
You know, because it is absolutely hard to just do dialogue heavy movies.
Right. This is an easy, we could review this and be done in 18 minutes. And then it would he's got a lot more time to film. Let's discuss further.
I know we've said it. I don't know when this will come out, when the announcement is, but we're trying to do hour plus episodes, hour 15, hour 30.
Yeah, we got a little extra time, so
exactly. So, but this month was kind of hard.
Yeah, all these movies definitely have not a similar theme, but a similar style.
Yeah, where it is really captivating dialogue, and I think a lot of people would if you're a cinephile. Me and Colby are garbage cinephiles.
Yeah, there's definitely things I notice, film styles and coloring and light and stuff, but not in a filmmaker, professional kind of way.
I think for me, because I went to school for it, I do get to notice those things,
and you do point out some of the stuff that I didn't see.
Yeah, and but that's just because obviously I went to school for the training to because when you do photography, you also dabble. Obviously, you dabble in some videography as well, and because it helps you. Learning both mediums really does help you try to convey emotions and things in photos,
right?
As well as cinema, our videography. So you definitely got to learn both of those things. And the movies that we're doing for this month, or have done for this month, it really does it. Us talking about it, I feel doesn't do enough justice to it, because you miss out on the visual nuances,
right,
of these movies. Because this movie today, where I didn't do a little ditty for you. I'll try to though,
freestyle.
Oh, let me see. How do we do this? All right. I was brown boy stabs. I'm brown, so I get it. How do you even talk about this? What's it called? 12 guys go into a... It's just gonna sound like a joke. 12 guys go into a room, and then this is they jerk off.
Hey, we watched a different movie.
It's not gay if you're paid. No, yeah, it's really hard to do a little ditty for this, I think, just because, also, a lot of the characters in this movie are, just anonymous. Not anonymous, but they're jury 1 to 12.
Right.
So today we're talking about 12 Angry Men. I wonder if there's somebody out there that's going to listen to this. Like, when are men not angry? Oh, yeah, we're going to be talking about the 1957 movie, 12 Angry Men. Let's just get into like a little bit. I feel like this month is a lot of discussion on like the philosophies and the actual underlying tones and messages of these movies more than the actual plot review.
Right.
But we do get an opening scene of the jury being dismissed for, what is that called? For discussion or deliberation.
Deliberation,
There you go. I should know that. I watch enough Law and Order. They were handling a case where a kid from the slums, who is I don't know
but
what ethnicity
really,
he is.
Yeah, like really, you learn very little about the case. It kind of comes into the courtroom. The judge is like, "Okay, gentlemen, it's time for you to deliberate. Remember that this is a murder trial. There, if according to the state statutes, if this person's found guilty, death penalty. There's no leniency. So make sure you discuss this, and if you if you without a shadow of a doubt, then he's guilty. If not, innocent."
Or acquitted.
I guess not guilty.
Yeah, or acquitted, right? That's like when the jury can't
hung
come to
when if it's a
like it depends on like the amount of like not guilty's the guilty, right?
yeah.
It's like it's hung jury if one guy doesn't believe.
Yes.
And it's if the majority is not guilty and there's still some guilty, it's acquitted, right?
No, it's either. He said it's all or nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's everybody has to agree.
Oh, see, I guess I didn't.
And I feel like that's probably why. So I think about, because I was not recently, but in the past I was jury duty for like a pimp.
Oh, what? You were? Okay, I don't know if you can talk about this.
We could, because it ended. I wasn't allowed to talk during.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember a whole lot, but it was a 5-day trial.
Oh man!
Like some of the prostitutes and stuff that
came in
that he pimped came in and talked and stuff. But yeah, it was. He was up for like 6 counts of different crimes.
Yeah.
And I feel like it wasn't just like, hey, let's pimping. This is like big crime, so let's just push on that. They were like, no, we gotta
divvy it up.
So that way, because then when we got back to the little room and like a little group, and we were all talking about it, and some people were like,
pimping ain't easy, bro.
right? But it was like yeah, like these 2 counts were like very obvious. Like yes, yeah, he stole all of her money.
Yeah.
Yes, so definitely. It was very obvious he took all of her money. Yeah, so guilty on that. He coerced her with this other girl. Yes, that was very obvious. But then when you got to like the 6th count, it was like, I don't know if that, like, if they convinced me that. Like, it didn't seem like, and there's some people who are just like, yeah, he's a pimp. Throw him in jail.
I heard I heard those pimps, their hands are strong. That's what Snoop Dogg said. Iceberg. Oh, it's called a pimp named Iceberg or something, whatever. Iceberg Slim or whatever. I read his book. Terrible person. Yeah, I've actually escaped jury duty twice. I was like, yeah. Actually, no, 3 times.
So I've escaped it twice, and then one time. It was the most inconvenient time. I was like, the company I worked for before I owned my store. Yeah. They're like, hey, if you get jury duty, we'll still pay you for the days that you're at jury duty. Oh, and I'm like, I want jury duty. That'd be so cool. I want to like
free lunch.
I feel like it's my civic duty. Got it, and then was dismissed.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even get to go in. I just got there in line, and they were like, "Okay, everybody from this person back, go home." And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, but there's other people like, yes.
Right. Oh, most of the people like that. And then I opened my own business, and like literally like 5 days after I opened my business, I got it. And they're like, "We need you, in 3 weeks." And I'm like, "I just opened a business.
Yeah.
I just quit my job so I could do. I have no,
I have no. Yeah. Everything is into this.
And they're like, "Too bad, so sad. Get your ass in here."
It's your civic duty, sir.
And then my last name's Williams. The pimp's last name was Williams. And they're like, "Are you related?" And I was like,
yes.
"I cannot confirm or deny." He was
He was black.
very, and they were just like, "No, we'll keep you." Yeah, and then 5 days, and I was just like, "Oh, wonderful." I fortunately had a friend who at least had the store open half the time because he was going to school, but he wasn't working.
You're like, yeah, it's because Williams is such a common last name in America. It's
Right.
If your name was like Smorgasbord and the pimp's name was Smorgasbord, you're like, they might be related. But no, so the 12 Angry Men, they go into deliberation, and at first they're like, "Come on, guys, clear cut case." All right, let's just, jury number 7 is like, "Come on, guys, I got a Knickerbocker game to go to," which is like what the Knicks are. And it's like, it's at 7, I got money on the line, let's get this done and over with. And then they say a little thing, and they're like, "All right, hands up, who believes this kid is guilty?" And it's 11 to 1.
Yep.
Jury number 8 is a holdout. He's like, "Well, hold on, I'm not so convinced. There's a lot of holes in this situation, and I just need to know everyone's reasoning."
Right, and he was not like, "No, this kid is innocent."
Yeah.
He was like, "I'm not saying he's not guilty, but I just feel like there's some things that need to be talked through if we're going to put a man's life on the line."
Yeah, so you could tell jury number 8 has an appreciation, or like at least he knows how the importance of life. This is 1957. He might have been in the war.
Right.
And so especially after seeing, that much death and all that stuff, and how many lives he might have had to take, then
right.
There's obviously he
was old enough that he could have had a son that was, that age, and you think about that, you're like, hey, we're putting this, an 18-year-old kid to death. Yeah. What if it was my son? Wouldn't I want, the jury to think about it more than just,
and
hey, let's get to the game.
Yeah.
Throw this guy on the chair.
Yeah. But for one of the jurors who we do find out towards the end of the film that he does have a son.
Yeah.
He is way more adamant about no, he killed his father. That is one of the greatest sins that you could do.
Yep.
1957, obviously, maybe probably pretty religious during this time, growing up Catholic or Christian.
And they surprisingly did a good job of not bringing religion into.
Oh, yeah, thankfully.
I mean, yeah, because I'm like,
1957, yeah, definitely would have been an easy way to be like, well, God, this and that.
Yeah, how can we judge? That's God's duty.
Yeah, which I feel like, during the jury selection, they might what's it called, pass on those people.
Oh, it's true. Yeah,
bring a Bible
on a murder.
Yeah,
on a execution. Yeah, yeah. You may release
the religious person. Because what's it called? Separation of church and state. You got to do that, yep. Right? It's so yeah, jury number 8 is like, well, I need you guys to convince me. Let's have a discussion. This is what we're here for,
right?
And I'm not going to easily judge or weigh a person's life on this whole situation is an inconvenience to me. And
And he even says that he's like, you still have a few hours before the game. It's not like if we talk about this for an hour, and we're all sure that it's not like you're gonna miss your game.
Yeah, so he tells jury as a jury number 7, like, relax.
Yeah,
you'll catch the game. Let's at least we have a couple hours to deliberate on this, and this is what we're here for.
right.
And tensions grow throughout this movie just because of, like, as they go on to discuss, people start to make points. At first they're like, well, this kid is from the slums.
Right.
That's just what they do over there.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of the jurors is actually, he looks like he's polished up. He's made himself from from poverty, because he's like, well, I'm actually from the slums as well.
Right. And just because
he's from the slums,
doesn't mean you don't have the potential to become a productive member of society. It's
and they look at him like in surprise, because he's well groomed. He's in a nice tailored suit. I kind of miss the days where I felt like everyone always had like at least one suit.
Right. Yeah. And then in a weird background, they mention that it's the hottest day of the year.
Oof,
the fan in the room doesn't work. Everybody's in suits.
And that would, being in that condition, it will start to agitate.
Right. Almost claustrophobic. Not that it was that confined of a space, but you're in basically you're locked into a room.
Yeah.
Till you can come up with a
till you come up with
a decision.
Yeah. And yeah, when the way that everybody feels in this whole situation is like the kid is guilty just because of his background and all that stuff. They're like, why are you making this so much more difficult?
Right.
And this juror 8 continually pushes on the notes of like, well, I'm just not thoroughly convinced that he may have done it without it. There's like a reasonable doubt for me to have.
Right.
Yeah.
And after about 15 minutes of talking, he's like, everybody's really seems really mad at him.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, you know what? Go ahead, take a silent vote. I won't vote. And if all 11 of you still say guilty, then I will go along with your decision.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, of course. Already 11 of us already said guilty. Let's do this. Yeah. And then, as they read off the little silent votes, now it's 10 to 1, so it's now 2 people.
And now there's one person who's...
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was the wishy-washy guy.
Well, it's the old guy admits to doing it, but they're immediately like, oh, it's the guy who said he was from the slums also. You're feeling squishy for your people.
Yeah. And so you could already tell.
And then you could really start to see the two, even though basically it's like it's an all-white cast, maybe one Spanish person who's playing the person from the other side of the tracks, and then one who's like a French German accented immigrant.
Yeah, possible sympathizer. I don't know.
Yeah, but you can immediately see the two angry older white people who are like, oh, who voted not guilty?
It must have been you.
It's you, because you're from the other side of the tracks and you're sympathizing with your kind.
Yeah.
And we're just, and then, he's like, whoa,
relax. It was funny, too, because, later on, that same old guy has, a huge racist outburst.
Yeah. But then it's the oldest guy, and he's like, no, don't blame him. It was me. Yeah. And he's like, I don't know. I don't know. And juror number 8 has said enough things that it's made me think that I'm not 100% sure. So I would like to talk about the things that I am questioning, so that way, I know I'm making the right choice.
Yeah, and I think this is a really great way, because this whole movie discussion is it's funny because it's a way for us to learn about the case through the jurors.
Yeah.
You know, usually with like these type of movies, we have like the whole, the show. I like to call it, Robert Downey Jr. or Jack Nicholson. You can't handle the truth. Come on, Cookie. Give me one more step.
Really watching this, like all the like courtroom drama like movies, like all kind
All
of
the
ran
shows.
all through my head, and I was like, oh, I can kind of see like where that movie kind of stole this from this.
Yeah.
And then this movie kind of stole like or borrowed.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I mean obviously this movie's from 1957, so it probably a lot of like courtroom type of movies and dramas probably do take at least a good portion from this.
Right.
But like obviously like I not obviously, but I would say like 30 minutes into the movie you could already understand what the tone of this movie is, and it's like prejudice.
Right.
Like because then as they go along with the movie, as the movie goes along, juror number 8 is able to bring up points and have talking points where he starts to instill the seed of reasonable doubt within other people. They're like, oh, damn, maybe he isn't, and I only remember like two of the key points. There's so much dialogue, but like two of the key points is well, he stabbed his dad, right? And so, like, switchblade, they say, is like like the tools of the slums.
Right. Oh, yeah. So there's actually two different points with the switchblade.
Yeah.
First one is like, hey, it's they found the place where he bought it, and the guy who sold it to him said that it was like a really unique design of a switchblade.
Yeah.
And so when the police found where he dropped it. It obviously, or when the kid said he dropped it, but the person, his dad got stabbed with it, and they found it, and it's obviously like it matches what this guy sold, and if he has this like a real unique knife, then what are the chances?
Yeah, and then the other point is
and then juror 8's like, well,
we got one right here.
I was interested when they said that, so I went shopping around, and I found the exact same one.
Right. See,
so it's really not that unique of a knife.
Yeah, which can also give you a point in how lawyers are meant to sort of be a little bit of a storyteller.
Right.
So like, all right, let's take this point, let's spin it this way.
Right.
And and all that stuff. And then the second point that I do remember this is the one I remember the most, because I did watch this when I was younger in passing with my uncle, because he was always like, was that one channel where it just played nothing but old movies like TMC?
Yes, yeah.
TCM?
Turner Classic Movies.
Yeah. Like I watched like what's it called, like Singing in the Rain. All those like musicals are always on there.
Yep.
But this is one of them, and this is the one I remember the most as a kid. Was they were trying to demonstrate. He's like, well, the kid probably went like this because the stab wounds.
Right, yeah. They were like, oh, the kid's taller than his dad. Yeah. So, he must have stabbed him like this because he's got to be stabbing downward.
Yeah, but then the kid from the slums.
Yep.
He's like, well, I've never done this, but I have witnessed a lot of knife fights.
Right.
And the way that, the entry wound of the stab wouldn't match, because if you're stabbing somebody with the switchblade, you don't want to go like that. You want to go with the front motion.
Right. You're pop it out and stab and gone. That's the method of the switchblade was just the quick poke and gone.
Yeah.
It's not a
kitchen knife
or
whatever. You're not going that way, because first you're gonna cut your hand up.
Right.
And it's just way too much of a. It's like in boxing, a wide swing.
Right.
Where someone could potentially block your stab. Funny enough, in the Philippines, like knife fighting is a huge thing, and so I don't think I've ever seen it. Maybe. But yeah, definitely like with a knife, it's super like you watch all these movies and it's like always like knife fights, and it's like they always tell you, because in the Philippines they do have like a knife martial arts. It's like Cali and stuff. It has like a lot of knife fighting things, but they're like number one thing they tell you is like, if you have a chance to run, just run.
Right. Right.
Because getting stabbed isn't dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hot. It feels hot.
And it's always like, hey, the fancier things, the more you have to move the knife around, the fancier your martial arts have to be. That it's it's like, hey, you're in a bar fight and you're gonna fight. If you're being fancy, you're just trying to hype yourself up, and you're trying to scare somebody. And the bar fights are always won by the guy who's just like, what?
Yeah.
And then it's over.
No hezzy. You know what I'm saying? No hezzy. Yeah, like the knife fighting for the Philippines is pretty straightforward. Like I think U.S. Marine or SEALs get trained by Filipino martial artists for knife fights, just because they have a lot of I believe it's called CQC, close quarter combat situations. But yeah, and so that's another point that, like, they had brought up, and it's like, well, why would he do it like that, this and that, and more jurors get swayed. And that's where the old guy has like the outburst. He's like, well, we know what kids like him are like. They must have done this.
Yeah.
Because he goes into this tirade, and then I believe it was like juror number 4, who the guy that looks like an accountant. Let me see, 4. He's one of the there's like 4 last remaining holdouts on guilty, but he tells the guy, he's like, hey, shut up.
Yeah, but he at least is like, every point juror 8 brings up, he has a pretty valid counterpoint.
Yeah. Yeah, he has pretty sound reasoning.
Sound reasoning,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so he's actually thought of the same kind of things that juror 8 is, but he's just come up with different conclusions, like, yes, this is...
Yeah. But yeah, after he tells the old guy to shut up, he's like, don't ever talk again. But he brings up another point and all that stuff, and then but after he talks, he takes off his glasses and he starts to like massage his temples, which I've done a lot. I have glasses too. If you wear it all day,
yep,
Colby knows it.
Yep.
At a certain, especially like back then, it was a little bit more crude back then, the eyeglass wear. So you do, but it depends on like what kind of glasses you have, but you start to have like indentations on your nose, in your bridge, the bridge of your nose.
Right.
And the old guy who at the beginning of the movie had put not guilty after being swayed, he's like, well, why are you doing that? He's like, oh, well, like my glasses, they're pretty uncomfortable and all that stuff. But like the point juror number 4 was bringing up was like, well, there was an eyewitness, a lady who said she had saw him stab his father.
She woke up in the middle of the night, immediately looked out her window and saw the stabbing happening, and then the lights went out, and
But the old guy brings up the point though. Is like, well, I noticed that you have these indentations on the bridge of your nose.
Right.
So did the juror, or so did the eyewitness.
Yeah, then they were all like, is there anything else we can think of that could possibly give you indentations on your nose besides glasses?
Yeah.
And of the people here who wear glasses, how many of you wear them to bed?
Yeah, or put them on first, like waking up in the middle of the night if you have to go pee or something.
Right, yeah, so if you hear something outside and it wakes you up and you look out the window, what are the chances that you stop to put your glasses on?
Which, I mean, like, fair. It is a fair point. Like, if I'm getting up in the middle of the night and I hear something, or did she say she heard something? I forgot.
Yeah,
a scream or something.
The scream.
Oh, okay. You might I put my glasses next to my nightstand, but if I wake up like in a jolt.
Right.
I go to see first, even though my vision's pretty impaired. I don't think I would. Maybe reflex, I would, but it's like they're within that whole situation. You could also instill reasonable doubt within that eyewitness.
And it was one of those. They had mentioned. The juror number 8 had mentioned, it was like, hey, the lawyers. It was his public defender. How much did the public defender care? This is a case that seemed pretty open and shut.
Yeah.
So would he really put that much effort into a case that he knows he's going to lose.
Yeah.
It's not going to bring him any fame and fortune. It's not going to bring him anything. It's going to be a lot of work for a loss. So,
Yeah.
He's just going to do the bare minimum.
Which is like really sad because I think we can still say that probably is still not to the fault of a public defender, because to be fair, they are like swamped.
Right.
Like it is.
Yeah, and that is probably way worse now than it was in 1957.
Exactly.
But if you've got so many people. You've got the file in front of you, and you're just like, let's go off of this. There's not really a whole lot of background research on anything.
There's just not enough time in the day to which is really sad because it's like you can't really delve so deep into a case because they're gonna be like, hey, so you have this case at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. But at 10:30 you have another case,
right?
And it's just like. So that sucks. So these jurors are really taking into consideration because of juror 8 of all these things. Like, well, we have to be more careful with this because the public defender, as qualified as he may be,
right, and it's one of those things where it's like, hey, if we mess up and this guy goes to prison for 6 months instead of 2 months, whatever, he's still going to go to prison. But when it's hey, if we mess up, this person dies. And it's because we didn't care enough to try to save him.
Yeah.
That's
so after that point is brought up, juror number 4 thinks about it, and he probably, like, as I would as well, is like, dude, I hate the fact that when I leave the house, I'm like, if I cook something before I leave the house, I'm like, did I turn off the burner?
Right.
So maybe the way he's thinking, because he does switch his verdict from guilty to not guilty, he's probably running through the situation like, well, if I was in that situation, how many times have I forgot my glasses?
Right.
Even like in a rush, in an emergency, how many times have I forgotten it? Or like, even if you don't, you still second guess yourself. So it's just like, all right, that's pretty sound.
Right.
That's enough to make me doubt the witness. But the last holdout, juror number 3.
Yeah.
That guy, throughout this whole movie, they're like, why are you so hung up on this? And we do learn at the beginning of the movie, he says it like it almost felt like an offhanded like line, but he talks about having a strained relationship with his son.
Right.
He's like, oh yeah, I used to beat him.
Right. Yeah. My son
used to mouth off.
Yeah, he was a disrespectful like little cuss, and so I had to show him some serious tough love, and it made him into a man. But he hasn't talked to me for the last 2 years or something like that.
Oh, it's because he's like, he became a man, and then he got bigger than me.
Oh yeah, right.
And so we fought one more time, and then he doesn't say who won. I feel like the son won.
Right.
Just super virile. It's not funny. I was gonna say it's funny, but I grew up in a neighborhood, and there's this one guy, like, I used to look up to him. He was like this white dude. He was always working on his 67 Mustang. I was like, that guy's so cool. I just watch a whole bunch of Grease. And it's like, how badass is it to like work on your own car? I feel like that's a dying thing now.
Right.
Like, you really have to love cars to do it now.
Now with the computers and stuff, most people don't know how to.
Oh, exactly. I would like, if I had the money, I would love to like really delve into like, if I had the money to like, get a something from the 70s, get that thick ass book that comes with it to fucking fix it.
Right.
And really work on it. That I think a lot of people, if you really love cars, I feel like a lot of people would do that as like a pet project. But I remember growing up with him, and then he became a Marine. I was like, man, he's so badass. But then like my uncle told me a story because he had been in that neighborhood since like the 70s. He had said like, he's like, oh yeah, his dad and his older brother his dad actually shot his older brother.
Wow.
And it was like a whole thing. It wasn't like his dad was trying to kill him, but it was like I think maybe it was like drugs involved. His older son was, got into it, and
Right.
put the family in danger. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was just like, I can't imagine how strained that relationship might have been. But like, obviously he was still in the house and all that stuff. But damn, I forgot where I was going with that. That was really dark. Where was I going? Hold on, what were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about the strained relationship.
Oh yeah, and I was like, man, you don't want the shit to end like that. But
right.
He was from that time.
Yeah. And you kind of got that idea that was like he slapped the kid around.
Yeah.
To try to make him into a man, and then they were talking about there was a strained relationship between the kid and his dad.
Yeah,
that was.
And we
And hey, how does that final fight go? Yeah. Like here, it sounded like the kid either got beat up and then ran, because like you said, away, it didn't say, either got beat up and ran away or beat his dad up and his dad was like, get out.
Yeah.
And then here on this other side, just, hey, maybe it just happened that kid had a knife and in that fight. And
yeah, the kid's small too.
Yeah, that knife comes out and you get a quick stab on dad. It just kind of almost instinctual, defending yourself if you're used to that kind of stuff in that kind of neighborhood. And
but juror number 3 maybe is what, like projecting.
Yeah.
And that's why he's like the longest holdout. And
right.
And then he goes on this long tirade about just the whole situation until he like slams his folder. And a photo of him and his son, arm to arm or shoulder to shoulder hugging.
Right.
And he sees it and he crumples it and he rips it and he breaks down.
Yeah.
Because maybe he's seeing that that is might have what could have happened in this situation.
And so he could totally see how this kid could have stabbed his dad.
Yeah, might have been pushed to that point.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, but it also it gives him a little bit of doubt that maybe it was the dad's fault. Right. Maybe it was self-defense.
Right.
Because he probably saw because he knows how it is to beat your kid up.
Right, and that's one of those things where you're like, even when you did it and you're wrong, that's not something you want to admit
to your kid.
To your kid, to some strangers, to yourself.
Yeah, because once you come to terms with it with yourself, you're like,
right.
Fuck.
Now all of a sudden there's all this guilt of what did I do? It's not. I haven't seen my son for 2 years, and it's my fault, not his fault.
And the unfortunate part, Colby, I'm pretty sure can attest to this, is the possibility of him also instilling that to his future kids, like the cycle of violence,
right.
Which is really unfortunate. I remember, I think I grew up with some my single mom, so pretty hard. I had to be hard and all that stuff, and I grew up. I was like, I'm not gonna be like that to my kid. I'm gonna listen to my kid. Which I think that's the best you can do is recognize the bad portions, and then try to not go off the fucking rails.
Right. It's an interesting balance, because I know I really do know quite a few parents who were like, hey, my dad used to hit me way more than he should have when I was a kid. So I'm never going to hit my kid. And then you're like, oh, your kid is a spoiled piece of shit.
You can't overcorrect.
Your kid is terrible because you never disciplined them because you were over-disciplined.
Yeah, no, but like like never. Yeah, it's hard because a lot of people do tend to overcorrect,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, your kid is a fucking nightmare.
Yep.
So, and then I do have some friends that have kids now, and I'm like, whew.
I'm so really I'm like a couple of them now, but like we hang out and they got their kid, and I'm just like, really, one really good spanking, and I guarantee 75% of this behavior problem will be gone because they'll know then that is a possible punishment.
Well, now it's different though, right? We're in a different time, maybe like what my mom did was instill the seed of fear as a kid, as a young child.
Right.
And then until like I got older, obviously we would still have our disagreements and all that stuff, but obviously she couldn't hit me anymore. I was too big.
Right.
But not then she switched it to psychological warfare. But now for like kids, I feel like okay, so yeah, maybe you can spank them when they're like grow like until like 5 or 6, and then now the punishments are more like, I'm gonna take your iPad away, I'm gonna take your phone away.
It's true. Yeah,
that's like the new punishment, I think.
Right.
It's
yeah.
like, oh, sorry, you're on a technological lockdown.
Right, because like my parents would be like if you're bad, I'm gonna send you to your room, and I'm like, my room where all my toys are. Oh, maybe that's. Or they'd be like, so my mom was really strict on TV. Yeah. Not strict, but it was like you could watch it for like half hour in the morning while you're eating breakfast, and then you could watch no TV till like 7:30 at night, and then it was like till 9, and then it was bedtime and TV was off. Like really, like that was my limited amount of TV. Sunday was a little different. It was kind of family day. We had we'd watch movies, and like, especially when like a VHS came out, then we'd go and rent movies, and it was a little bit more. Or we'd watch, Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom would come on. That was,
with the British guy narrating.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so then like I remember like getting in trouble, and my mom was like, "That's it, no TV for a month," and I was like, I basically don't watch TV anyway. I'm going to miss like 3 episodes of the A-Team. It's like the only thing I'm going to be sad about. If I play my cards right, I'll eat dinner at my friend Matt's house, and we just watch A-Team there, and then I'll come home after, and you won't even know.
Yeah. But now kids are screen dependent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I like, I don't know if I'll have kids, but like I have friends that have kids, and like, I know the easiest thing is just to be like, here's an iPad. Like,
right.
And like I don't want to, like, I want to say I'm not going to be like that. I'd be like, here's a fucking book. Use your imagination.
Right.
Just because like now that I think about it, it's just like, what are these kids' imaginations going to be like when they're older?
Right.
At least at least when we were kids, this is an old man's podcast right now. but like when we were kids, like a good portion of the day we'd have to like play outside. Fucking
literally, like you TikTok, they make jokes about like it was like you wake up in the morning, they kick you out, and then they don't let you back in until the streetlights came on, and if you were thirsty, you had to drink out of the hose. Like
best days of my life.
That was every day, all summer long. Yeah, as a kid, like,
and it's like the best. It was the best because then like that's where you get to do dumb shit.
Yeah,
you like jump off roofs. Try to jump over the quarry.
You learned to skateboard because you were just bored.
Yeah,
like,
because it was better than being home.
Right. And yes, there was no like tell your parents where you were. Yeah. As long as you got in trouble if you weren't home, streetlights came out. But for 4 or 5 hours of the day, I was like 3 miles, 4 miles from the house in the desert, trying to catch lizards. Yeah. If it was an emergency, it would have taken them hours to find me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, '80s and the '90s were a pedophile's paradise. Yeah, and that is, so like it's funny. I think like a lot of movies that have those like cycle of violences where, parents were way more rough with their discipline, it is going to sort of die out, obviously. And then this will become like a timepiece of like, oh my god, people back then were savages. How could they strike their children like that? I don't know, man. Some of these kids mouth off a lot.
Yeah.
Oh man, but no, and so like yeah, juror number 3, like he's not the antagonist, I think, but it also shows like maybe some jurors at some cases might have like the emotional connection, as like what they had tried to push on the kid from the slums. Like he's like, yeah, you voted not guilty because of your friend.
Right. And then there's even an interesting part where like about 9 people have now switched to not guilty.
Yeah.
And the one guy, like the one loudmouth guy who's been like, who wanted to go to the baseball game, is just like, fine, not guilty. And they're like, no, you can't change unless you
have a reason.
And you have to explain to us why you're changing. We're not going to accept your change just to be like, I want to go see my game, so whatever, I'll go with the group.
It totally reminds me of that episode from Friends, the Thanksgiving one, where Joey wants to go to the Thanksgiving with the hot Victoria's Secret models, and he's like, I want to go. I mean, if I was there as a judge, like, dude, who cares if he doesn't have a reason, all right? Like, listen, you've already instilled enough doubt in all of us. He's just a gimme.
Right.
Obviously, they also get mad at the wishy-washy guy. They're like, well, why'd you go non-guilty? Why'd you go guilty? And he's like, all right, fine, guilty. I don't think they ever resolve his line.
They don't. Yeah. He was the worked for an advertising department, and he keeps like every time he gets bored, he's like drawing stuff, and they're like, "Pay attention."
Yeah, come on, man. It's Mad Men situation,
Yeah.
He has fucking secretaries to slap on the ass. John Draper, was that the guy from Mad Men?
Yeah.
Or Don Draper. Yeah, I remember someone had a joke. He's like, yeah, his suit is right next. His suit is in the Smithsonian Museum, right next to Cosby's sweater. Yeah, so yeah, there's just some jurors that are just trying to. They've gotten the doubt, the not guilties.
Right.
Some of them can't put it into words, but you can make the point that maybe they've convinced them enough to be swayed.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
he did jury made a good point. Like he kept making the point. He's like, it's not that like you think he's guilty, but that they have convinced you beyond a reasonable doubt that he is.
Yeah.
So, don't just be like, hey, yeah, he's from the other side of the tracks, so he's guilty. These witnesses sound credible, so I'm just going to believe them because they seemed more honest than this. If it's like one person's word against another, it's just you gotta look at both sides and be like,
question.
Is reasonably have you convinced me that this is 100? He's 100%
guilty. And that's really what the tone of this movie is obviously during that time, civil rights was going to start kicking up in the 60s. And it's a pretty important movie because it shows, like, even till today, like, some people are like, oh yeah, he did it because of his skin color, his beliefs or whatever. And unfortunately, that's still a pretty prevalent issue.
Right.
Because you never know, that pimp might have been a really good pimp. But obviously they had the evidence, I don't think that line has ever been said. Oh, he's a really good pimp, though. He takes care of his hoes, especially his bottom bitch. She has a mansion right now. She only serves politicians and CEOs.
High class.
Yeah, high class. And then the movie does end. We don't know the verdict. I think no, we do know the verdict. It's not guilty.
Yeah.
And jury number 8 comes outside. He gets he meets up with I believe jury number 2 or something.
Right.
One of like the older guy who had went not guilty as well, and that's
Yeah.
where we got the line where he's like, "Hey, what's your name?"
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's really like you get to know all these people, but I didn't even like it doesn't even click that you don't know their names.
Yeah.
And then when he says that, he's like, "Hi, what's your name?" And they was a Draper or whatever.
Yeah,
And there's like
McGriddle.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, whoa, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because you're so captivated by the dialogue. And like and that's like I could see why a lot of like movie directors or script writers would like this month's movies just because it's such good writing.
Right.
Yeah. And the movie just ends right there.
Yeah, and like I'm like it has to be strong writing if you're going to have 12 people in a room and have a cohesive story that's engaging from beginning to end.
Yeah. You know, the sad part too for me is like as I was watching this movie, I was like, man, this is way better than The Hateful Eight. Because that's like the same style. They're trapped in a cabin and
Right.
you know, Tarantino movies obviously have always been dialogue heavy.
Yeah.
You know, that one was a pretty rough watch for me though. I don't remember enjoying it as much as like, you know, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, and Kill Bill series, obviously. But this one was like, yeah, it's really captivating. You're like, oh man, did he do it? I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Is this guy going to be able to convince everybody that?
And the best part is like as they go on, like the other jurors start to bring up questions that they probably had during the whole trial.
Right.
But they're like, you know, they allowed their prejudice to really just go off the whole thing because here let's read one of the juror number 8 he has like this whole monologue where he's like, it's always difficult to keep personal prejudice out of a thing like this. And whenever you run into it, prejudice always obscures the truth. I don't really know what the truth is. I don't suppose anybody will ever really know. 9 of us now seem to feel that the defendant is innocent, or we're just gambling on probabilities. We may be wrong. We may be trying to let a guilty man go free. I don't know. Nobody really can. But we have a reasonable doubt, and that's something that's very valuable in our system. No jury can declare a man guilty unless it's sure.
Right.
Which is like, I feel like I was like, dude, that should be the fucking creed.
Right.
Of jury duty.
I'm like literally like I feel like this movie should be playing in the waiting room while you're like jurors are
Yeah, you know,
getting selected.
And I think it's movies like this, which helps you, which tries to teach you to abstain from your prejudice and come into trials with clean slates. It is really important. Like I think the movies they used to make back in the day, even though they're all white people, were really important pieces. Like this movie, I believe Kramer versus Kramer was a pretty important one, just because I think they use that in court, like where when it comes to child custody.
Yeah.
Because before, back in the day, you used to just 100% to the woman.
Right.
The father wouldn't even be like thought or like what's it called considered to be the caretaker of a single child.
Right. It was like it always goes to the woman unless there is something monstrously wrong with the mother.
Exactly. And you gotta say Aubrey Hepburn in that. It was Aubrey. No, it's who was in that movie? It was Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
And God, she was in the movie Devil's Wear Prada.
Glenn Close?
No.
No.
Close. The closer? Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. Yeah.
She was hot.
I was picturing it, and I just said the wrong name.
She was hot in that movie. Have you seen that movie before?
A long time ago.
Oh, do you remember?
That was like my mom loved that movie.
Oh, there. I remember specifically the scene where I think Meryl Streep character, she had like, was she like cheating with like an Italian guy, very giving unfaithful vibes with Diane Lane. I remember like he had hooked up with, I think, a coworker. She had like the big hair, the big glasses.
Yeah.
But I remember she also had Bush, and I was like, oh my god, Bush. I watched that movie like pretty young. Like she came out like with the shirt, the office shirt.
Yeah.
With the boobs, like the side. Oh my god, that is so erotic. Can't imagine what that kid is thinking right now. But yeah, like you know, it's. I'm not gonna say that movies now don't try to tell a message, but like it's been a while since I've seen a movie that has like a cultural impact.
Right. I'm like, as I watched this, I kept thinking of like My Cousin Vinny. It sounds dumb, but that was this. It was a very comedy version of this.
Yeah.
Because it was like, hey, Ralph Macchio, he's like this Italian, like punky kind of kid, and he's driving like a hot rod car. So of course he's the one in this quiet little, peaceful town. He doesn't belong. And so
Joe Pesci and
and then there was like a lot of the things where they were like even though it was super polite, they were like, hey, oh, grandma, how many fingers am I holding up if I stand back here? And she's like,
5.
Yeah, and it was the same kind of thing because they were talking about how like there was a train passing and somebody saw something happen through the windows of the train, and they were like, yeah, of course you could, but
could you see? Is it clear?
Is it clear enough that you could very accurately pick out somebody?
Yeah, and it's so much but those, I think that's like a great, like some of the, like a lot of these older movies do have a great importance in like have great cultural impact.
Yeah.
And we're not going to sidestep that a young Marissa Tomei was in My Cousin Vinny.
Oh,
still hot.
Yep.
See that? I was going to get on Tyra. See, that's what natural beauty looks like. I used to work in my job. I used to have like heavy foot traffic, so I would always just like, wow, like so much lip filler now and so much surgery now. Just like I grew up in the '90s with like a lot of natural.
The only thing that was ever fake was boobs.
Yeah. Now it's like everything. I don't know what's real. Calf implants. My gosh, girls are getting booster seats installed in their butts. Jesus, Kim Kardashian ruined a generation of women.
Yeah.
Let's go to our other section. We got the high star and the low star, and Colby is our official high star.
High star. So don't judge by the age. 10 out of 10. For a while, I was not very receptive to watching films that were too old. I always thought it would be difficult to get involved in the context. I couldn't be more wrong. 12 Angry Men is a great example of how a simple film can do magic with good actors and with and what great actors they are.
Yeah, well, I had to pick a short one because everything else was like an essay. We do have a 1 out of 10. Jury nullification, a fictional story about jury nullification and confirmation bias. It's an example of the refusal of a jury to find a defendant guilty even when the facts establish guilt, because that conviction would be contrary to some other concept of justice. The defendant stabbed his father during an argument. The physical evidence and testimony, yet the jury plays amateur CSI and weaves ridiculous stories about their own lives to justify an acquittal. This movie shows you the flaws of the jury system and how one bully on a jury panel can dominate an outcome, arguing what ifs and making up scenarios. I don't think this person watched the movie.
Right. That is... He got the opposite message that the movie was trying to convey,
because like they're not trying to play amateur CSI they're really just trying to be like, well, why would this person do this in this way? You know, I think
And like, just kind of talking about the like I said, there was like six counts that the guy was on the trial that I was, and it was like there was two or three of them that everybody was like, yeah, he's guilty. Like, they gave us good evidence.
yeah.
You know, there's nothing we can dispute on those. He did that.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple we talked about, and then there was a couple, and I think we ended up having him be guilty on 4 of the 6 because, like, the last 2 were like, people were like, yeah, he's guilty, and it was like, oh, he's probably guilty.
Yeah.
But like, they didn't give me enough to know.
Yeah, to know for sure. But that's what this movie is portraying, is what a jury is supposed to do.
Right.
Talk about the whole situation, and it's not I don't think it's making up scenarios, but it's like you try to see situations
Right.
from other angles.
Yeah,
you know,
and I'm
so.
certainly not saying like I was like this and I was the lone holdout and be like no,
Yeah.
but it was like on those like last 2 counts, it was like 6 and 6 when we did the vote,
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, we can't leave till we get down to an agreement, and so yeah, it was a long enough deliberation that they ordered us pizza, and we had pizza, and it was like we were in there for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
To come up, to convince everybody to be on the same page with everything.
Oh, correction on the Kramer versus Kramer thing. She did not have an office shirt out. she did have the big glasses though.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, man, I don't know what this person.
Usually people remember less clothes.
Yeah.
You remembered more clothes.
I don't know what it is about a woman in my button up. It's erotic.
Like in the man's.
Yeah, no, in my
a white or a
whatever button up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yes.
The button up it's super erotic.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna be. These guys have gone
oversized
way,
business shirt.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Something wrong if it fits her well. No, yeah.
Or I've done the I also like the men's suit or woman's suit jacket, but with no shirt underneath. So you just get like a lot of cleavage. That also does it for me. Yeah.
It's a very Playboy look.
Yeah.
Or Penthouse with the stories. Didn't they used to always do the photo shoots according to the stories?
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like I think, man, I don't think I've disagreed with a low star review so harshly today, because I was like, the point of the movie is to be sure, especially when it's a death penalty case.
Right.
You know? So, oh yeah, I think that's all we have to really say about this movie. We got up to an hour.
We did.
Not a lot of stumbling around, so I'm kind of glad about that. But yeah, like if this is the first time you guys joining us, thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check out our other months. We have a bunch. We have Danny Trejo month.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we got Ninja month. We got Lady Fight Club month.
Oh yeah, we do have a street fighting month.
Yeah, for ladies.
But we have a
Oh no, it's just a Fight Club month.
Fight Club month. Yeah.
I'm just remembering Lady Fight Club movie.
Right. Space debris.
Yeah, space debris in space. Yeah, we have Robert Pattinson month. Who you guys gotta check him out. He's a really good actor.
He is. That was an interesting one. We had a couple movies in that month that were like talkers.
All right, yeah. I don't
Cronenberg
think,
movies. It was two of them were Cronenberg movies.
Yeah, I don't think people give him Robert. I'm glad people are starting to give Robert. I was one of those people that wasn't giving him enough credit because of the Twilight series.
Right. Yeah, I definitely typecast him, and I feel like I had typecast him all the way up till Batman, and I was like, no, he can't be Batman. And then when I saw Batman, I was like, oh, he's good. And then you had me go back and watch these movies.
You're like, oh my
and
god!
I was like, wow, he's
range.
He's quite a powerful actor.
Yeah, he's really good. But this is the first time you guys are joining us. We do our reviews in 4 different sections. We have Stream It, DVD, Blu-ray, and the Ultimate Box Collection. Colby, where you at?
I've liked all these movies.
Yeah.
If we box collectioned like this whole month, I like not like you sit down and watch this often, but like it's one of those ones where like every couple years you could rewatch it and
revisit
and get something out of it. Certainly somebody I knew was doing jury duty. They'd never done it before. They were questioning it. Like my daughter, I'd be like, hey, you know what? Watch this movie and we'll discuss afterwards and you're a little bit more prepared.
Yeah. So where are you at? So standalone.
So standalone. Somebody said that there's Blu-ray and then there's 4K.
Damn.
On this.
Yeah.
And that both of them have a totally different set of extras.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, I bought them both. One came from the Criterion collection, that one, and one was like a steel case. Yeah. He's like, I bought them both because they're both and then they're totally different. I don't necessarily on this. I don't know what you would get for extras. Because it seems pretty straightforward, like the movie. Like it's powerful, but it's pretty straightforward. So I don't know. Maybe just DVD.
Yeah, like we just watch movies. We don't make them. So, but definitely, I still think it's a pretty powerful movie, as far as like in this situation. So DVD would be a pretty easy pickup. Obviously, Blu-ray you could probably package this up with like 4 or 5 other movies just because of the resolution.
Right. Oh yeah, you could be like the Henry Fonda collection, or because he was juror number 8. Yeah. And you could have like 4 or 5 of his movies.
Yeah, which that would also probably be a pretty easy pickup because I do like I do like old movies too, just because of my uncle. Because the acting is so good and all that stuff, and the sets are a little bit more simpler. So like the stories, I felt like were a lot stronger. Had to be a lot stronger. The dialogue and all that stuff.
Push that because you don't have the special effects to like cover up your weak acting.
Oh man, yeah, man. So, but yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check out our links down below with our Amazon affiliate link, so me and Colby can go for a surf and turf dinner.
And we got our socials down there, our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Please friend us and like us and share us and
talk to us.
Hey, I inherited an Alexa Dot, and if you're just like, hey, Alexa, play Who Watches This Podcast, episode 75. It does it for you.
Oh, that's really cool. But yeah, make sure to do all that. Talk to us on there. We're gonna try to do more videos on YouTube on the WWT commentary channel. Make sure to check that out. But thank you guys for joining us. My name is Barry.
Oh, this is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. If you guys want to check out the theme music, it is Lee Rosevere. It's called Arcade Montage. It's on our album Music Podcast 3, and her Bandcamp is down below.
Thank you.